Okay, so just got done with St. Lawrence River and I'm getting ready for the fall series or fall tournaments, and it's time to do a service on my engine. So gonna go over how to do that. So obviously remove the cowling. What you got here is a 5/8 inch socket. You loosen that, and then your oil is gonna drain out. You can see mine was pretty black. You can get one of those little tubes right there at the hardware store. Fits right over that. So it drains fairly quick. You don't have to worry about that. Now it's time to remove the oil filter. You get all these parts at a Mercury authorized dealer. It'll save you a ton of money doing it yourself. It's pretty simple, although I couldn't get the filter wrench to work on that little filter, so I had to grab a pair of channel locks. That old one's damaged anyway, so channel locks works. What you do is you put a rag underneath there so the excess oil doesn't spill down the side of your engine. So some little tip that I learned, you can see that oil filter is pretty nasty in there. Clean that off, get all the excess oil off of there. And then what we're gonna do is open the oil. I went with 2540. Some guys are running 1030. So it all depends. My dealer locally here over at Waddowie Marine told me to run the 2540. So what you want to do is on the new oil filter, take you a little bit of oil and rub it around that seal, and that's going to help that gasket fit onto the housing there. So when you tighten it, don't over tighten it. Just it's hand tight, as tight as you can possibly do it. That's what they recommend. Guy at Waddowie Marine again said, don't over tighten that with your filter wrench. Hand tight, and what's going to do is once you start the engine, start running, it's going to actually make it even tighter. So then, as you can see before, you had to unloosen it with the channel locks. But anyway, I write on there the date and how many hours, so to remind me when the next time to do a service is. And then I got my funnel, pour in the oil. Now on the back of the cowling, which we'll share with you in a minute here, the back of the engine there, it has, what you do at certain hour marks. So 20 hours, I believe, 100 hours. And it tells you how much oil to put in there. So for the Pro XS 250, it says 7 US quarts. So obviously I got gallons instead of quarts. So I'm trying to get it just right there. And that's what the specs are as far as the Pro XS 250 that I have. So don't want oil everywhere, so that's why I always have rags and everything. Put that on there, and now what we're going to do is check and make sure everything's good. So it's all handy right there. You can actually do this part after you put the cowling back on, because there's a nice little hatch there that you'll see in a second. So you see right there, it's perfect, right where it needs to be. Put it back in there. Now what I did is I carry a spare gallon, I don't know, a half gallon or so of the oil in my boat in case, you never know what's going to happen on the water when you're making long runs. If you get any kind of low oil pressure alarm, you have the oil with you. You don't have to call a towboat or anything like that. So just good to have. So I put those two together and put it right down in my storage in my back engine compartment. It fits right there next to my spare prop, so it rides with me all year. And then got out my other tools. I have a nice SKB box. I carry all my tools in. It keeps it waterproof. Now we're going to do the lower gear case. So this is extremely important. I usually do this about once. For me, I do it about once every 35 to 40 hours, which is overkill. But, lower unit, without a lower unit, you can't get anywhere. So I want to make sure I got all the right fresh gear lube in there, and I don't have any problems with my lower unit. So my hub actually came out right there. I had the TH Marine prop wrench and the stopper to take the prop off. Now what you want to do, there's 2 bolts on the back side right there. You want to take out the bottom one first. Here's what I did. So I lowered the front of my boat so that I could drain the oil, without getting that little pan underneath there. But you take the bottom bolt out of the lower unit first, and then the top one, and that'll release the pressure, and then it'll flow out of there much easier. And you can see I have that yellow deal is a gasket, which I'm going to replace. I got brand new ones from the Mercury dealer, so I'll get that off of there here in a second. But this takes a little bit of time, especially if it's cold out. That oil or that gear lube is going to drain out a lot slower. So, you know, I recommend doing it a little bit of warmth. That stuff will come out really quick. Got my grease ready. And I kind of get impatient, even though this is sped up a lot, it still took a long time. And I just want all that excess. You see how dark that is. It's supposed to be a nice blue color. So once again, you know, the more you can keep that engine trimmed all the way down, the less it's going to run back into your housing of your lower unit. So that's why I do that. And then while I'm waiting, I got some silicone spray. I spray on the Atlas jack plate on the rams there. That helps keep it lubricated, and you know, it doesn't jump or bind or anything like that. So then you can get these little pumps at, I believe, like Walmart or wherever. They're really handy. I've had this one for probably 8 or 10 years. And then you just, you know, attach that little fitting to your lower unit. And then it looks like I'm going pretty fast, but the slower you go with that, the more it's going to press out all those air bubbles. That's definitely what you don't want, is air bubbles in that lower unit. So it takes a little bit of time. You're going to waste a little bit of gear lube, you know, but you don't want air bubbles in there. You want a steady stream of fluid coming out that top, where the nut goes. So you can see I'm filling from the bottom to the top, not the top to the bottom. So then once you get all the air bubbles out, you want to place that nut back in there, or that bolt, excuse me, and tighten it down and leave the other one attached. And what that's going to do is hold that gear lube in there quickly, pull that out, a little tiny bit's going to come out, and then you put it in that bottom bolt, tighten it down. Like I said, I got the brand new gaskets on those bolts, and then clean it all up. You know, I try to be as, I guess, careful, and I don't want that oil and all that stuff all over my shop. So lots of towels once again. And then what I did is take the marine grease, put it on the prop shaft, put the hub back on, the prop back on, and then I grabbed my the prop wrench and stopper to help, you know, put the prop back on. And it's pretty simple to do once you get the hang of it, once you've done it a time or two. And it does help save money, you know. It's something that I kind of enjoy doing because I know how to do it, and I can get the parts at my dealer, and everything's good. So then I don't know what I'm looking at there, but oh yeah, I put some grease on the rams for the trim motor. And what I didn't show here is I had to go to the store. My grease gun broke, so I went around. I got that same grease and went around and greased all the Zerk fittings, all the fittings on the engine. And now I got some Mercury spray. Since the cowling's off, I can get to it all really nice. Gonna get it all shined up, put it back on, and I think I'm headed to Santee Cooper or Lake of the Ozarks. I don't know where I'm going next, but I'm ready to go. Got a clean bill of health. You can see that's that hatch that I was talking about, where you can simply check and see. You know, I do it once every other time I go to the lake. I'll make sure that, you know, I don't have an oil leak or I got enough oil, what have you. So good to go.